This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now.
Yo, what is up? 24/7 Buff Fandemonium. It's your boy Swank. This guy right over here, Ryan Thomas from the Thomas Takes Sportcast. You're watching the K-Gun Report on a Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And where else would you rather be than with these two guys, huh? What's up, RT? How's it going tonight, buddy?
It's going very well. Another Tuesday, another K-Gun, back-to-back, which is pretty fantastic. Really pumped to be on the show 2 consecutive weeks. Great to get the chance to chat with you again, Swank. It's always a pleasure, and I'm really looking forward to what we have in store for the viewers and listeners of tonight's show.
Yeah, man. Me too. I think I got really jealous that the boys got to hang out with you so often, and I had to have you on.
You're like in your new house, but at the same time you're like, this house it needs something. I don't know what it needs. Oh, it needs RT and the K-Gun Report with me. Yes.
A soulful voice and a live stream is what it needs. Right next to this couch. Yeah.
That's
guys.
Great.
We are part of the Buff Fan Base Network and super proud to be. You can catch our show, obviously, and Mr. RT's show right over there, the Thomas Takes Sports Podcast. Also, as part of that, we are sponsored by 26 Shirts. Go to 26shirts.com. Check out what Down the Gang got cooking up. It's always a great time. Get some fresh threads. Help out a family in Western New York. It's a win-win. Win, I guess. It's a triple win. Why not? It's all of them. Just give them all your money. It's a great deal. They got this sweet Iron Maiden shirt that they just put out that I'm really excited about. I think
I saw that.
Yeah,
I saw that. I got the Allen one that is in the shape of a buffalo, like it's ALLEN. That was one that I actually talked to Del Reed about a couple years back. He had that shirt. I think it was in 2018. I think it was in Allen's rookie year, and it went so quick that he it was like a one and done kind of thing, but it went so quick that he brought it back. and it went so quick again. I missed it twice, so I wasn't letting myself miss it the third time. And right after he hurdled Anthony Barr, that shirt went even faster. It was the second time he put it out. So the guy is just so creative, so down to earth. And he tweeted something today that I responded to. He thanks the supporters. He thanks the Bills Mafia. He's so appreciative, and rightfully so. But without his vision of creating 26 shirts as a way of helping the community, if it wasn't for the heart that guy has, it wouldn't be possible. He needs to know that, so that not many people, these days look at things as, how can I turn a business into something that actually helps people? And that's what Del Reed did. So props to him.
100%. And I just retweeted, I think, man, it might've been this morning, yesterday. I don't know. You quit your job, dude, and it's like the world's just so much brighter. It's amazing.
Yeah. I've been there.
2 million. They hit the 2 million mark either yesterday or today. So $2 million donated total in the last, I think, 10 years of 26 shirts. So,
that's incredible.
All the retweets, all the shares, any of that stuff, even if you can't grab a shirt right now or something like that, pass the love around, man. It's a great time. So that was, man, definitely. We just killed that promo, you and I. That read was crazy.
Yeah, and that's just, genuine from the heart. Just like Del Reed, you know what I mean? He's a genuine guy.
Right off the top. Guys, I haven't been here. I'm very excited to be back. We're going to talk about some AFC power rankings, way too early AFC power rankings. RT and I kind of discussed what we were going to do tonight, and I think that'll be fun. I got a little pop quiz hot shot here to get RT and you guys in the comments involved here. But speaking of you dudes in the comments and ladies, let's say hi. What do you think? We got Corey Blaine saying, "Ready, boys, let's go." You're in on this R joke, right, Ryan?
Yes, I'm familiar. Yeah, ready, boys, let's go.
Poor Jared, dude. We got Tom Manwheeler saying, "Go Bills." What's up, Tom? We got Patrick Hughes. What's up, Mafia? Glad Swank's holdout is over. Sorry for the R's. Don't stop. Just yes, Jared is holding out. No, Jesus, dude, you're on it right now, dude. We got Doug saying, "Let's go. Happy Tuesday." Hell yeah. We got Joey Hatch. Hello, my brother, Buffalo brothers and sisters. What's up, Joey? How you doing, brother? Uncle James, what's up, Mafia? All caps. I love it. What's up, James? Corey Blaine. Ryan, what up, bro?
What's up, Corey? How's it going, buddy?
Patrick Hughes. Ryan, still no K-Gun fantasy trophy. We need to fix that, LOL. Yeah, was this a topic I missed out on?
Patrick brought it up, and I'm going to tip the cap to Patrick here, because I didn't realize last week when we were talking about that, when he commented that it was his team that I beat in the championship. I couldn't remember. I was like, who did I beat? And then he kind of clear. I thought Patrick was having just some good-natured, trash talk, but he was actually congratulating me, and then I felt like a jerk. And then I said, you know what? Let's do it again. Let's run it back. Mm-hmm. We'll get a rematch going in next year's final, and we'll see who wins this time. This time around, we'll see what happens.
Good luck with that, man, because I'm all in. I have been on the outskirts of this for too long. I don't know how we missed how did we not have a trophy for this? That's insane. So
maybe I get the trophy at the Rager. Wouldn't that be something?
Oh, that's a good idea. See now, dude, guys, I took up a little Jared. My little notepad here. A trophy for Rager. I like it.
That'd be sweet.
Can you guys hear my dogs freaking out upstairs or no?
A little bit.
A little bit.
Not too bad. Yeah, not too bad though.
I'm in the Swank dungeon. I moved my studio down here, and this is like another temporary. This is like the third temporary studio that I've had in the last year. And then when we build our garage, that is where the official music and live streaming studio is going. So
that's gonna be sweet.
Until then, you got to put up with my dogs running around upstairs. Trophy at Rager.
This is the new RT studio here.
Hey, yeah, dude, I forgot.
Yeah. Moved in with the lady, and
Nice.
Going really well. I got some Bills mini helmets signed by
Yeah.
Thurman, Rasul Douglas, Doug Flutie, Trey White, Micah Hyde.
Nice.
Got some Red Sox stuff. Obviously, you can see like the Josh Allen canvas. Yeah. There's the Diggs and Allen canvas, which that kind of breaks my heart looking at that, but it is what it is.
It is what it is, man.
And then you got Fenway's on a canvas on this wall, which
that's
you guys know. Yeah, we keep it over there. I do the baseball stuff too. I go to that wall when it's baseball time, baseball video time. My girlfriend
just
laughs.
Move the camera, dude.
She can hear my chair rolling. And
that's good, dude.
But hey, it's good. It's good for optics, right?
Absolutely. We got Catherine Marie saying hello from Connecticut. What's up, Catherine? Thanks for tuning in. We got Lonnie. What's up, Lonnie? Corey tagging a bunch of people. Thanks, brother. Patrick says, congrats, 26 shirts on the 2 million. Keep it up. Hell yeah. So we got incredible. Mary saying hi, Bills fans. Yeah, dude, it's crazy. He posted that they were close like a week ago, and I was like, oh man, it's not gonna be long. Like he threw it out there. They were only like a couple grand away. Let's see. We got DH. Hey guys, go Bills. Patrick says, don't worry, Ryan, it was trash talk. I didn't forget it.
But I did. That's even worse. I won. I got to remember who I beat. I didn't even remember who I beat. That's terrible.
It's okay. Yankees fan here. Catherine's a Yankees fan. Represent both sports. Okay.
Well, it is what it is. We are in New York.
I do, man, I got to admit, like, I'm just not that big of a baseball fan anymore. I used to like the Yankees. My great grandmother liked the Yankees.
Nice.
She lived to be like 101. She would call me on my birthday and stuff, and she could tell you everybody on the roster. Like her brain is really sharp, dude. It's crazy.
That's awesome.
I did go to a Red Wings game just last Tuesday. That's why I was out. We were doing like a late Father's Day.
Rochester, Rochester Red Wings. Yeah,
it was great.
They got some good. They got some good prospects. James Wood just got called up.
Yeah, James Wood, dude.
There was another one.
That guy's a beast.
Yeah, he is. He's big too. He's like 6'5", 240.
He's enormous. And he's all legs, dude. Yeah. Yeah, it was a great time.
It's
$9.
$9. Wow.
It was every Tuesday. Listen, if you're near Rochester, if you want to make the short trek, man, every Tuesday it's half price. $9. We sat 2 rows behind the home dugout.
Wow. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out.
Give me a call.
For sure.
We'll go.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. We'll do it.
Let's see. We got Cookie.
Plate.
Hell yeah. And Paulette. You guys are killing it. We're at 345 right now. Thanks so much. Spread the word. Oh, well. There was a couple things. This one right here, Corey threw up. Anyone get practice tickets? Excited man, ready for the season. RT, have you heard anything about this lottery? I signed up for it. I know the season ticket holder guys, they got their tickets if they signed up, but I even added Bills PR. Do you know anything about what's going on with this?
I know a lot about it, and I don't like any of it. So we'll put it that way. I mean, okay. I've been going to the training camp for as long as I can remember. It's got to be at least 20 years that I've gone every single year. And it's a huge deal. I think it's an awesome. I've actually loved St. John Fisher. I remember there was some years where people were not liking it, and I thought, I really hope they don't change it because I think it's a good place. And I think it's a good location. I think it really helps the team having it in kind of a central location. But they've changed the ticket process. But for a while, you could go into like Tops or Wegmans and get tickets for free, or you could go to you could buy like a Bills training camp ticket, and then you get like a Darien Lake ticket, or for Darien Lake theme park. Like they made it so easily accessible for the fans because it's supposed to be something that's a little bit more easily accessible, so that fans can see the team close up, see them practice, see teams come together. And now it's kind of turned into this. Well, season ticket holders get first priority, which I'm fine with that. Yeah. But season ticket holders don't always get tickets for this. Yeah. They now it's like season ticket holders have to have a separate lottery, and then they're on sale to the general public like 2 weeks after that. And that's how they had done it at least last year. It's so confusing that it turns me off, like to the, as a consumer of Bills products. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I hate putting it that way, because obviously I'm gonna follow every practice as best as I can. I'm gonna still try to go to every practice, as many practices as I can. But they got to make it easier. They have a lot of fans that are different generations, and not everybody's up to snuff on the online, Ticketmaster stuff. So they got to do something, and it's something that I think that they will do. It's just they're not doing it yet, and that's frustrating.
So, yes, to all of that, they changed the process yet again. So last year, and I think the year before, all the season ticket holders scarfed them all up. They were gone. Right. So this year, they actually had a lottery that you could sign up for, right? And you pick 3 days, you pick a couple of times, how many tickets you'd want. And if it gets passed, or when it gets passed, the way I perceived it was season ticket holders, they get their shot. And then the rest of them, lottery. So I know a season ticket holder that's already gotten his St. John Fisher tickets.
Wow.
And that was like last week. And now, like, I'm looking online, like, well, how do I even know if I won the lottery? When are they drawing? Like, all this stuff. Because it lasted until sometime, I think, midweek last week. The way you find out is you got to check your spam folder in your email, and you have to have the Ticketmaster app, and you have to check in there. They'll deposit it if you want it, and you have to accept it within X amount of hours, or else they're gone. So I don't know, but there's no word on when they're really doing it. If I'm wrong and anybody out there knows what's going on better than that, then let me know. But like, I have not heard a date that they're drawing. I haven't heard anything. It's crazy. So,
well, I'll take you behind the curtain a little bit on something that I haven't told anybody about. So this is breaking news. So this is cool. So before we dive into the subject of like the show, I wanted to say that I'm really happy about a lot of things in Buffalo. One of which, they built a studio, a movie film studio in Buffalo, and there was an ad that was out that they were looking for Bills fans between the ages of 25 and 35. I'm 32. I'm like, okay, what do I got to do this? It's for a Buffalo Bills movie? Like, well, okay, let's take a look at this. So I submit my headshot, which I do have, for my writing days. Nice. And I submit that. I write a few sentences. I'm like, they'll never get back to me. This is a shot in the fart in the wind, to make a joke. But 2 days later, they get back to me, and I'm like, okay, this is great. I'm gonna make this. I'm gonna send in a video that's like an audition, and I had to tell them about why I love the Bills, what makes me a Bills fan. What do I think of the team? Where are their strengths? Where are the weaknesses? And what has me pumped up for 2024? I do all this and record it, send it in, and then it said, as I sent it in, that I had to send it in before June 30th. But the email that I got to send the video in after they had reviewed my first headshot was the day before June 30th. So I got the second email after the deadline, and I'm like, they got to make this June 1st or July 1st. So I contacted somebody within their PR, and I'm waiting to hear back. But if all things go according to plan, I might be in a movie, which is pretty nuts.
Yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
I can't wait to post your IMDb page.
I want to work on that. Like, seriously, I'm like, could I end up having some acting credits in my life? Like, I didn't anticipate that. So I'm waiting. I'm literally checking my email every day, waiting and hoping that they respond back.
I saw I saw that post that they were looking for guys. I was like, shit, I'm 40, dude. Like, what?
You don't.
But yeah, it's
40
cool.
is not 40 is not even old. Like they should honestly just say guy that looks like a Bills fan. Just no matter what, no age, and they would. I mean, that'd be like the best movie of all time if they're able to,
Sweet.
make that less of a restriction.
It's interesting though. They might be trying to ploy towards like the new generation of Bills fan, right?
Maybe,
like, because there's a whole slew, and I've talked about with the boys before. The whole slew of like kids coming up that know the Bills quarterback and the Bills core as Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs. Like, who's Jim Kelly? Who's you know what I mean? Like, and it's pretty gnarly to think about. But yeah, that's awesome, man. I hope it works out for you. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. I want to try to make that happen. So, fingers crossed.
Hell yeah. Yep. All right, guys. So, tonight's topic, as it is the off season, and nothing is really, like, literally nothing is happening in Bills football. There's some Sabres stuff, but I can't bring myself to do it right now. They've hurt my feelings too much. So we're gonna skip that.
I think that's why I have some like wrinkles under my eyes, from the last 2 days. Good Lord, the Sabres.
I didn't have all this gray in my beard before that, Jeff.
But PTSD from 2007.
Yeah, dude.
When they lost Briere and Jury, and I can't do it.
I know it. check out my boy RT on some hot Sabres content, by the way, over on his page.
Yeah.
I had we do rattle the reads on this show. I haven't done it in a while. I want to get back into the habit. As there are no reads, we are rattling Ryan. And right now, please play along in the comments if you will. Did you know, RT, in the AFC, topical because we're power ranking tonight, in the AFC last season, 10 out of 16 teams in the AFC were better than 500. Did you know that?
I didn't know that, like, in terms of that, but it does make sense because this conference is loaded with good teams, good quarterbacks, good coaches too. Mm-hmm. Good coaches, and that doesn't really shock me. There were some risers, teams that came out of nowhere, and then there were some teams that were as expected, like the Bills and the Chiefs and the Ravens.
Your usual suspects.
Your usual suspects, but I think the conference as a whole, any of the founding fathers of the foolish club of the AFL would be looking at this from football heaven, and they're like, we're the superior conference. I mean, it's not even, I don't even think it's close. I really don't.
It really isn't. So out of those 10, 7 of them had double-digit wins or more, which is to me is still insane. So RT, what I'm tasking you and the loyal viewers of the K-Gun Report with doing is, can you name those 7 teams that had double-digit wins or higher in the AFC East for the regular season this last season?
For the AFC East or for the AFC?
I'm sorry, for the AFC. For the AFC,
my bad. I'd say the majority. There's 7 seeds, so 7 of those teams made the playoffs. 7 seeds make the playoffs. So 7 out of those 10. KC, Buffalo, Baltimore, Houston, Miami, Indianapolis.
No.
Jacksonville?
Nope. Ooh, we're getting into it.
Really?
You got 2 left. Let me see here. Who'd you say? Jacksonville? 9-8 they were. I didn't even count.
Damn. There's some 9, and then some 9-win teams too. Like that. I mean, that's crazy. Yeah. There's 2 more teams. I'm stumped. 2
more teams. Yeah, and they're both from the same conference. If that helps you at all.
Same division.
Yeah, division. Sorry, man. I'm screwing up. Take 2 weeks off, dude. Look what happened to me.
Chargers?
No,
they were terrible last
year. Fun fact: 5-12. They ended on a 5-game losing streak, and that's pretty awesome.
I'm stumped, dude. You're gonna have to give them to me.
All right. Anybody in the comments got some help from my boy, Catherine Marie, Pittsburgh, 10-7.
Really? They were 10-7. I thought they were like 8 and something.
I know it. Also, they're from the same conference, bro. that same division?
Cincinnati.
No.
Cleveland.
Cincinnati was 9-8. It was Cleveland. Wow. 11-6. So we had Texans, Pitt, both at 10-7, Browns, Chiefs, Bills, Miami, all at 11-6, and Baltimore at a whopping 13-4.
I forgot about the the Gandalf quarterback, Joe Flacco.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. The resurrection, dude.
Yeah. Forgot about that. That did happen. It did happen. Good for him.
You, last season, there's a lot about last season. Maybe it's just the way it ended with KC and Taylor Swift and everything, but there's a lot from last season I think that is like forgettable almost, you know. I went through and watched like a bunch.
Wasn't legit, you know, like that'll never happen again with Joe Flacco. I love Joe Flacco, but no, it's not gonna happen again. No.
Let's see here. Charlotte had it. Pittsburgh and Cleveland. Good get, Charlotte. Patrick Hughes, your boy. Corey said Tennessee. Laughable. They were 6-11, my brother.
Shout out to those Titans, though. They helped us beat Miami.
Yes, they did. I love
it. Which Will Levis was letting it rip that night. That was awesome.
Yeah, pretty crazy, dude. Pretty crazy. But I thought that was interesting, and I kind of wanted to segue it into like where these power rankings go, because like when I started writing what I thought my list was here, I kind of went back and like was like, well, I can't remember where some of these teams even wound up, dude. The AFC South was like it was a traffic jam, man. You know, like forget about like with the Jags and all that stuff, and us having to like hold our breath kind of for that big finish to end up with the 2 seed, which is insane, right?
Yeah.
So, So, ladies and gentlemen, it's 8:25. We are part of Buff Fan Base. We are sponsored by 26 Shirts. Go to 26shirts.com. Give them all your money. It's a good time. Right now, I present to you RT and Swank's Way Too Early AFC Power Rankings. We're going with number 16 first. We're going all the way up to the tippy top of 1. RT gave me a little teaser before we started the show and said I might find his 16th pick entertaining. I also told him that he might find mine entertaining. RT, the floor is yours, brother.
Well, you know, this offseason's been about a lot of different things for every team. Each team's got their own thing that they're excited about. This franchise that I am going to talk about, they're more about honoring the past, because I think they know that their future is not too bright, and it's going to get worse, a lot worse, with growing pains before it gets better. My 16th ranked team in the AFC is the team that has the most AFC championships in NFL, AFL history, the New England Patriots.
Yes.
Now, year one of Gerard Mayo, I think it's going to come with some good and some. I actually like the Gerard Mayo move. I don't think it's a bad move. But I do know that roster is so young. So green. They have a lot of rookie wide receivers and a huge question mark at the game's most important position, the quarterback. They brought back Jacoby Brissett, I believe, and they have Drake May, who they drafted very early, that they were not willing to trade that pick away, despite many teams wanting that pick and giving up quite a lot to try to get that pick. New England stood pat, pun intended. The Pats stood pat and took Drake May. But I definitely think the Patriots are going to be a pretty bad football team this year with a completely different change in identity, a lot of new moving parts, and it's just going to be a little bit of an identity shift and identity culture change that I think is going to put them at the bottom of the AFC.
I am right there with you, brother. I had the Pats number 16 overall. I think the stuck in the past thing, that is like very interesting to me, because I think even with their head coach choice, they're still kind of stuck in the past. They're stuck on like old promises and deals that they made from who knows when. How many coaches have they promised were going to be the next head coach of the New England Patriots before they finally got rid of Belichick in whatever fashion? You know, it's just nuts to me. I could see like all those dudes that went off and finally got sick and tired of waiting. They probably all got the same bowl of malarkey, and they all either ended up back in New England or without a job. So
yeah, that's a great point.
I'm interested to see what is this dude going to do different, and could we have like a little bit of a Robert Kraft ownership problem here? You know, like, is it kind of going to be like I want my guy and that's it kind of scenario? I want my Tom Brady. I'm going to find my Tom Brady and you make it Tom Brady, or else that's it. Like, I don't know. Every single quarterback they draft or hire looks exactly the same, by the way.
Yeah. I actually thought that Drake May looks a lot like Tom Brady. I think they look physically a lot alike.
Yeah.
Especially when Brady was young. And I will say, you know, it's a compliment in a sense that the Patriots did select Drake May, because I looked at Drake May as the kind of, if you go back to 2018, I know that was, you know, 6 years ago, but the way they were talking about Josh Allen it's very similar to the way they've talked about Drake May, that he's kind of on the outside looking in. He's green, he's raw, he's got a lot of athleticism, but he needs a little bit of polish. That's how they talked about Allen. But the game just kind of flows through guys like that with the way that they can be athletic and do things that not many quarterbacks can do. I do think Drake May is that type of athlete. But if they ask him to be that right out of the gate, he's going to have some rough moments. And in that town, which I know very well, that New England, Boston region, they are diehard, demanding, result-driven fans. So if it doesn't go well this year, Jerod Mayo could be one and done. If this season's as bad as I think it could be, he could be gone. Robert Kraft does not pay to lose. So it's going to be interesting. But I think the Patriots are at the bottom for a good reason.
Yeah, and I love them there. They can stay there for as long as they're on top, as far as I'm concerned. Moving up here. I mean, this was a fun exercise, man. I loved every little second of trying to rush around and finish this list. I'm going to say the guy like Corey Blaine here that put these guys like in that double-digit win column. This is where these guys are for me. The Tennessee Titans. I think that they are still just a simmer pot of I don't know, nothing.
Vinegar.
Like, it's
vinegar,
just
piss.
piss without the vinegar, maybe.
Piss without the vinegar. Big pot of shit. No, that's the Patriots.
Dude, that's why they're 16. Now we're moving up to piss. That's 15. Yeah. I think they're a mess. I think they're totally rebuilding. They got some exciting parts here and there, like wide receiver wise. I think there's some promise. But I don't know, man. I think they're in like year 2 of a rebuild that like just doesn't seem like it's gaining any traction. And again, I'm okay with it. They're not my most hated team, but they're definitely not my most favorite. So I think it's just middling. They're mid, as the kids would say.
Mid. Yeah. I'm not too far behind with you on Tennessee. I don't have them ranked 15th. When I put this list together, I looked at it from a team identity, coaching, overall standpoint. I took the Denver Broncos as the 15th best team. When they hired Sean Payton, I looked at it as a very similar circumstance to when the Raiders brought back John Gruden. Mm-hmm. You can't be a coach in the NFL for a long period of time and then step away for a long period of time, come back and be successful. It doesn't happen. There's no
Rarely.
example of a coach that has been able to really do that. There's been coaches that have been successful for a long time, but there's never been a coach that was in the NFL for a while, was successful, retires, then comes back. Joe Gibbs is the only one that I can really think of that is one of these legendary coaches. He came back to Washington and it was a disaster. He was gone in 3-4 years. So Sean Payton, he has broken the walls down of this place that is the Denver Broncos and rebuilt it his own way. And that's all fine and dandy, but if people go in and they see that the foundation's off, then the building's going to collapse. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's going to be really. I look at them in a similar fashion to the Patriots, where they have a real huge question mark, more of a question mark, I'd say, maybe than the Patriots, with the exception of some of their skill position players being a little bit better. But Zach Wilson and Bo Nix and Jared Stidham. I mean, those are all question marks. It brings me back to when the Bills had J.P. Lossman, Craig Nall, and Kelly Holcomb. I mean, there's not which one is even the favorite. You can't even look at which one is even the favorite in that regard. So Denver, I think that they're going to have a very tough year. And it's not going to be good for Sean Payton. He could be on his way out as well with a bad year.
Yeah, great take, man. Absolutely great take. I just had this idea for a show while you were talking. Like, man, that three-headed monster that you listed off, the Trout for QB, dude. A great show is going to be what is the worst, like, 3 pairings of QBs that we took into training camp, like, out of any of those.
Like, there's also Jeff Toole, Thad Lewis, and EJ Manuel. There's also those 3.
Yeah. Kolb, Tyrod.
Yeah. Kevin Cobb. Oh my God.
Cobb. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, man. I'm not too far gone with your Broncos pick either. I'll wait till I get there. But great points, great take. What do you got for 14, my friend?
14, this is another one that's going to make a lot of people raise their eyebrows and a lot of people laugh that are in the AFC East. I have the New York Jets listed 14.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And to me, I rank teams as if like the biggest question mark and how that big question mark can impact their season. And if it does happen one way or the other, how much would it impact their season? I was at the just for perspective, I was at the Anchor Bar on Maple Road in Amherst during the Jets-Bills game with my lovely lady. And I mentioned to her that I had a feeling, and I mentioned this to Scott, I think I mentioned it to you too, that Aaron Rodgers was going to get hurt. And I didn't think it'd be in 4 plays, but I thought if we get to him and we hit him, watching Hard Knocks, he'd had some calf issues. He's going to get hurt. And it really was not a big hit from Leonard Floyd that took him out of the game. I think that's a huge misconception. It was a great play by Leonard Floyd, don't get me wrong. But it's not like when Arthur Moats shellacked Brett Favre into the turf and the rubber from the turf bounced 10 feet into the air.
Yeah.
You know, that was one of the greatest hits I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But Leonard Floyd rolled over Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers rolls over his own leg and his Achilles, pops like a chicken bone. And I really believe that a lot of people are looking at the Jets as a much better team this year than last year, but I still don't see what they need to be that upper echelon team that'll make the playoffs. I still believe Rodgers, 1 year older, 1 year off of an ACL injury, who's to say that he doesn't get hurt again? And if he does, they have a much better backup quarterback this time around than Zach Wilson. They got Tyrod Taylor. Yeah. But I also know what Tyrod Taylor brings to the table or what he doesn't bring to the table. So that defense as well, I know that they have a lot of talent. I know that people look at that defense as one of the best in the league. But this conference has juggernaut offenses in it. And all these teams with these great quarterbacks, which defenses are they watching? They're watching the Jets defense. They're watching the Chiefs defense, the Bills defense. I'd say, like, on paper, those are the 3 most productive from a team, depending on those defenses' standpoint. But the Jets are at a point where I think they haven't added enough to their defense. They've been focusing so much on offense to help Rodgers stay upright that it's actually going to hurt their defense this year. So it's a hot take, but I think it's a worthy one. I really do.
Hey, you're bringing the heat right now. Joe Perry says, "Wow, I hate the Jets too, but no way are they 14th." Patrick Hughes brings up this sick point. Swank and Ryan, think about this. Rodgers has to start the season against Floyd again in week 1 when the Jets play the Niners. I didn't even think about that. That's
they're
gnarly,
gonna get their asses kicked week
Oh
one.
yeah,
Dude.
dude.
It's gonna
Yeah.
be so bad. I don't understand how people can look at this team and say that they're a contender. They're not even close. That's like saying the Buffalo Sabres are Stanley Cup contender. Like it's not even close. I don't see it whatsoever. And if they were contenders, if they were actually a good team, they wouldn't have fallen apart when a 40-year-old quarterback got hurt. They would have played decent ball and won some weeks that they shouldn't have won, and they didn't even do that. So to me, I don't think highly of that team. I really don't.
They are the Jets. They are always doing things that are stupid. And I've said it a million times on this show, dude. Aaron Rodgers was not the move for them last season. They should have made a serious play at Lamar. They should have really been in the market for some of these quarterbacks that were looking for big deals. That was the play. And nothing against Salah. Salah to me is like my favorite part about that whole team. I really dig him as a defensive mind. But Aaron Rodgers, bringing in a 40-year-old quarterback that was complaining, all he did was complain about the wide receivers that he'd gotten over in Green Bay. And then you bring half of those wide receivers to New York when you were building a young wide receiving core that was good.
Sure.
Like you just didn't have anybody to throw on the ball because you're stubborn and you're stuck on Zach Wilson.
Right.
And I don't know. I don't think Aaron Rodgers' mindset was in the right spot. I've been over this a million times. Dude was like 90% retired before he did a bunch of mushrooms in a cave and then came out and found out he was getting traded. So I don't believe it. I don't think he's the same guy. And
he almost became, and this is like a legitimate thing. Like this isn't even a conspiracy theory. He was considered to be the vice president on Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s vice president, presidential ticket.
Yeah.
Like this guy is so in the weeds, like in the clouds. Yeah. Like there is no chance the Jets will even sniff the playoffs. I'd be stunned. I would bet heavy on the Jets missing the playoffs this year. I don't see it at all. I really don't.
I do not have them here. But I am this whole like 5-team run right here. They're all about in the same boat for me, really.
Yeah.
But my pick for 14, this one's my hot take. And I don't know what anybody else is going to say about it, but to me, dude, the Los Angeles Chargers are number 14 for me. You just got rid of your two best wide receivers on an offense that has not performed to where you want Herbert to be. He's another one of those quarterbacks, man. To me, it's like a Phillip Rivers, it's a Cutler, it's these guys that they're like, if they had a team around them, well, you had two really great wide receivers around him, and he still couldn't perform to get you out of what would we say, 5-win season? Is that where they were at? 5-12 is where they were
coming off of a bad injury too.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I just, what are you doing out there that makes anybody think that they're going to have more than 5 wins this year? Is it him? Because they still haven't made it up over that hump. I hear a lot about Josh Allen and the Bills and Sean McDermott not being able to get over that hump. And our hump is the AFC championship game. These guys can't make it in the playoffs. And I still hear about how Herbert is like the best top 4 quarterback, whatever, dude. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. That team is a tire fire. I have no faith in them whatsoever. What are they going to do this season, RT? Save us. Save me.
Well, I will tell you that I do like the smoke that you're bringing, and the fire that you're bringing. I do enjoy it. That was great. But I will say I do have the Chargers ranked a little bit higher. And like I said,
aren't you?
Mid team, as the kids say. I will tell you that I do have them ranked inside the top 10. I'll just put it that way.
That's all right.
But
I think that's got to be the first one out of all we've discussed that's that big of a difference, probably, I'm going to guess.
Well, the only reason I do is because I think Jim Harbaugh's the real deal. I know Jim Harbaugh's the real deal. I do admit that
That's a fair point.
You could look at him and think that he's a little overrated. And it's easy to do that because he has the most hateable face that I've probably ever seen. Like, I could not play for that guy. Without wanting to just smack him. And I don't like the khakis. I don't like his gimmick. Like, I think he's a turd. I really do.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
He's a great coach. He's won everywhere he's gone. He won at Stanford. He's won at Michigan. He's a national champion coach.
49ers.
Solid quarterback. 49ers, they should have been Super Bowl champions the year that they lost to the Ravens, in my opinion.
He absolutely got screwed. That whole deal,
yes.
to me, I can't believe that they let him go, or that he got fired, right? Like, what the hell, man? Like,
he got the rug pulled out from under him, and then they hired Chip Kelly, and that was a dark period for them.
You could say he's the one that changed the game. To me, that's Kaepernick's start. That's like a whole new style of play that you never saw. And now NFL teams are trying to emulate that all these years later and trying to get Josh Allen types. They're trying to get whatever, like mobile quarterbacks that can throw. And I don't know. It's that is a good point.
Kaepernick he deserves credit for that. For anyone that, says what they say, I understand, why they feel the way they do.
We hate
just looking
politics.
at it from a football. Yeah, we hate politics. But from the football player standpoint, he paved a road that was kind of laid down by Mike Vick and Steve McNair and Donovan McNabb. And you don't have Pat Mahomes doing what he's doing, or guys like Russell Wilson doing what they did in Seattle without guys like Kaepernick. You just you just don't. So I think in all promise wise, I think that they'll be in the middle level, and I have them at 8. I'll just say that I have them at 8, which means that they're not going to be in the playoffs. So take that for what it is. But
I got you.
The next team, I had Tennessee 13. You talked about them as you had them at 15, right?
Yep. Well, and that's funny. You have Tennessee there. I have the Broncos at 13.
Okay.
So we just swapped on those two.
We just swapped on those two.
The only thing I can say, I like Bo Nix. I think that he wins it out. I think Sutton is a solid wide receiver there. I think Judy was kind of just treading water in Denver. I'm excited to see what he does. But that's really the only thing. This is it for paying, like, put up or shut up for me for the Broncos. And if you like strike a little bit of gold and you get a rookie quarterback, that's the move to me. You put the rookie out there, he does as good as he can. That buys you another year. You know what I mean? If there's anything good that comes out of that, like, that's the move I would do.
Yeah, Sean Payton's not going to roll Zach Wilson out there, and I mean, if he does, then he deserves to be fired. I mean, at that point,
get him out. Hell yeah!
But it almost got Robert Saleh fired, so Sean Payton better be careful.
No doubt. No doubt.
12th ranked for me. I saw it in the comment section. The Las Vegas Raiders.
All right.
I don't even really know where to go with this one, other than I really do like Antonio Pierce. I understand why they brought him back. But I don't see a ton of talent on the team. Losing Josh Jacobs is going to hurt. Quarterback wise, Gardner Minshew, Aiden O'Connell. That's J.P. Lossman, Kelly Holcomb, esque. You know what I mean? As you kind of mentioned, you don't know which one is even the favorite. You'd probably lean towards Minshew with what he did at Indy last year. But they did draft a player that I think is going to be a game-breaking talent in Brock Bowers. That is probably one of the best tight ends I've seen, along with Kincaid, coming out of the draft probably since Rob Gronkowski, to be honest with you. So I'm feeling pretty good about him. He could have like a rookie of the year, offensive, pass catcher type year, easily, but I think their defense is abysmal, and I think that's why they're ranked at 12 where I got them.
I like it. We'll move it along here a little bit because I see that this is what happens, dude. We start so low. We just start going. There's this is might be my homer pick. They broke my top 10. I have the Raiders at 9.
Okay.
I do like Aiden O'Connell, and I do think that Bowers is exactly the piece of the puzzle that could probably open that up a little bit more for him. Coaching, yeah. I mean, yeah, Crosby on the other side. I think if he took one more step leadership wise, I know he's a great leader. I know he's a maniac, all that stuff. If he took one more step leadership wise, I think that defense could do enough to
Christian
where they could be
Wilkins
competitive.
too. Yeah, I just remembered Christian Wilkins, huge signing for their defense.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe their defense can turn it around, but I'll have to see it.
Hey man, stick to it. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. Yep.
I have the Browns here, and I hate the Browns if you're a fan of the show. I think this is
another. Too at 11?
I got them at 12.
Oh, you got them at 12. Okay. I got them at 11. So
we're right there. Great.
Yep.
What the hell? What are they doing? They're paying a guy one of the richest contracts in the NFL, who's a dirtbag, but set that aside. He has not shown that he can play football in how many years? He won't play when he's somewhat healthy. Like I don't understand what the dynamic of this whole thing is. If I was an owner, I would be super upset. If I was the coach, I would be out of my mind, livid. I just don't know what you do with him. I don't know how you prepare. I don't know what you expect to get out of this dude. We talked about coaches that have been out of the league for a couple of years broadcasting and come back or whatever. This dude, I mean, towards the end of his Texans career, it was faltering, and then all that stuff happened, and then he, blah, 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 all these turns of events, and now here we are. And again, what has he shown you since he was at the peak of his game 3 years ago that makes you think that he's really going to get it together and push this team forward? Also, I love Chubb. He's the only dude that I really like on the Browns.
Yeah. And for good reason. I mean, what's not to like?
Yeah. I mean, but what's he coming back as? It's a big injury. He's a running back. He's starting to get to that running back age where we start to say they're no good anymore, and we get a rookie in the 5th round, and he comes out and does just as good, right? I don't know. I got no faith. I think they're undisciplined, and I think it's just, again, another tire fire that is getting too much hype behind it. So
I completely agree. And that one decision to sign Deshaun Watson, you can look at it from a lot of different angles, as you just did. And my angle is, if they actually had, I'd even go as far to say, if they actually had like a Kirk Cousins, who I'm not as high on as everybody. I like use Kirk Cousins as like a mid outlier of like good and great. He's in between. He shows he can be great. Sometimes he's really bad. There's never a good mix consistently with him. But if they had a Kirk Cousins, I would go as far to say that they're a top 5 team in the AFC because their defense is loaded. Guys like Myles Garrett, he is a monster, and they've shown that they can play good defense. But Deshaun Watson is the worst contract, I think, in the National Football League, without a shadow of a doubt. So I agree.
That should make everybody feel way better about Vaughn's contract, by the way.
Yeah, for sure.
Patrick says if Watson plays, yes, the Browns will be trash. I agree. So I already had at 11 the Jets. We kind of touched on that. I went on my diatribe. What'd you have at 11?
11 I had Cleveland. So
there we go. All right, we're moving this thing right along.
Yep.
Number 10. You said you had the Jets? Or they broke the top 10?
Number 14 was the Jets. Number 10, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, the Steelers. Okay.
The Pittsburgh Steelers. I said I had the Chargers in the top 10.
That's what it was.
At 8. Yeah, that was at 8. But the Pittsburgh Steelers at 10, and realistically, I don't know what to make of the quarterback situation. So it's really hard for me to gauge. If Russell Wilson's the starter, how good are they going to be? How good is Russell Wilson at this stage of his career? If Justin Fields is the starter, how good are they going to be? How good is Justin Fields in this state of his career? I can never remember 2 quarterbacks that were tossed aside like sacks of garbage, the way that Russell Wilson and Justin Fields were, to go to one team, no less. I've talked about it. I'm golfing with my friends. Can you believe that the Steelers got Russell Wilson and Justin Fields for like $1 million total? Like that's
nuts.
It's absurd. Like it's insane. It's insane.
Denver paid so much, gave up so much for Russell Wilson, and just abandon hope, all ye who enter here, man. The thing is, like, when this all happened, I was like, wow, Pittsburgh has Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, two starting quarterbacks and similar playing styles, and maybe Russ will be able to take Justin under his wing, and maybe this is like what the Steelers need. I'll say I have the Steelers higher. I have them at 7. But that was my mindset for that whole thing was more like the quarterback play, no matter what happens with those two, and take aside the Justin Fields OTA horrible passing that he was doing. Like, horrible decisions, the late releases, like all that. Take that out of the equation just for a second. If either of those two start, the quarterback play is better than it was last season by far.
For sure.
You know,
and you mentioned from the top, they won 10 games with Kenny Pickett and
exactly.
Trubisky. I mean, come on.
Exactly. So I think that they're one of those things. Again, that defense is nasty, and I think, you know, he just gets the most out of his team, man. Like he always does.
Great,
you know, the 500 or bust, right? Isn't that the thing? He's never had a losing season.
Never had a losing season.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think that's why I had them just a little bit higher.
Sure.
I actually had the Colts here. They excite me. I just still think there's a lot of unanswered questions. I think Richardson has to show that he is durable, that he can make good choices. I think he is like Josh Allen his rookie season. I think it's like he wants to run. He wants to just make the play. He wants to take off. He's got to sit in that pocket and let his reads go. If that gets worked out, maybe you see him get pushed up in those rankings. But for right now, I think I got the Colts right there.
Yeah, and that's awesome because I have the Colts at 9. So, you know, I honestly, I looked at those quarterbacks really closely, and I liked Anthony Richardson more than CJ Stroud. I liked Anthony Richardson more than Bryce Young. And I liked Richardson because I see a lot of Josh Allen in his game, but I also think that they've actually done a low-key, really good job getting pieces for him. I thought that they've done really well. The run game is going to be great with Jonathan Taylor. I think he's going to bounce back. A lot of people forget that he kind of started the season late because of the contract bulk stuff and all that. I think that all that aside, they should be able to run the football really well, him included. If Anthony Richardson can stay healthy, talking about from like a fantasy perspective, he's probably the biggest bargain at where he's going right now. It's like a round 10, around 9, round 11 pick. He'd be the biggest bargain of fantasy football for people. So that's another little tidbit. But I don't think they're a playoff team. But I think that they'll be competitive for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. He'll be vulturing TDs down there. I think you're going to see a lot of that for sure this year. And I think the Jonathan Taylor thing, it's a good point, man. You know, you are the king of takes with the sultriest voice for a reason, my man.
And as well, they got a Donnie Mitchell who I like too. And I like Pittman, Mitchell, and Downs. That's pretty good. That's not bad. They're young too, so not too shabby.
Yep. Sweet. Just a refresher, my pick was the Raiders. We went over them pretty good for number 9. Moving on up to 8. Was this one? This is where you had the Chargers?
Yep, this is where I had the Chargers. So we touched on that. So you go with your 8.
I have the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Whoo!
Yeah,
not too high on Gabe Davis, huh?
I've seen his work.
I've seen his work too, and there's not much there.
I I don't know if Trevor's going to get as much out of him as Josh did. It's interesting, man. I think the Jags are now what, we were to the Panthers or something. Like they're just taking like a ton of Bills.
I put out one of my best tweets I think of all time. It was a picture of Gabe Davis with the number 0 and a picture of Keon Coleman with the number 0. So one of these things is not like the other. And I thought it was perfect.
Absolutely.
It just you go on the Jags. I got to hear what you think of the Jags.
Trevor Lawrence. I talked to the boys here a couple of weeks ago. I saw this comparison, man, and I'm trying to remember who the hell the other quarterback was. But the numbers were like identical.
Oh, it was
like,
Minshew.
It was No, was it Minshew? No,
yes.
It wasn't Minshew. Was it?
It was.
I don't think so.
I swear. I saw the numbers
Did you?
Of the last
where it was like they
years.
Revealed it was Minshew. Okay, everybody's saying it's Minshew. Yeah. Like insane. Like insane that like this dude just got one of the richest quarterback like contracts in the history of the NFL, which we all know that that'll fall here not too long. But like then you have another guy who everybody considers to be like a career backup, or everybody, you know what I mean? It just like, it doesn't compute, man. I just, I want to believe in him. He's on my dynasty. Whatever. I think he's got all the skills. Something's not there. Something's not clicking. I think this is the year that it has to click. I think definitely for the Jaguars, you pay this dude all this money, and if he's not firing on all cylinders and staying healthy and really making it happen, you really got to reevaluate what the hell you're doing there, because you're stuck with this kid for a couple of years, and if you're not stuck with him, you're stuck with his money. So sure. I just think they're reaching for scraps. I just don't see them being anything more than a middling team, and that's why I put them there.
What bothers me about the Jacksonville Jaguars is that they do try to be something that they're not. Like Miami, for as much as we make fun of the Dolphins, it's so easy to do that. But Miami's a destination. Miami's a place that players love to go and play. That's a fact. Yeah. Like I can't dispute that. It's a gorgeous city. It's like the new Los Angeles. It's like what Los Angeles was 30 years ago, and both cities have like flip-flopped. But that's another point. But to me, Jacksonville, they try to be Miami and pay these players, pay guys like Christian Kirk and Zay Jones, and then they had Calvin Ridley and they let him go, and all just like there's just too much going on when, in all honesty, they can draft. Like they've drafted decent play. Travis Etienne, I think he's one of the most underrated running backs in the league. Brian Thomas Jr., superstar potential, off the charts potential. We talked about him all April long, potentially going to Buffalo. Like that was a guy that I really hoped would fall to the Bills. And they just keep mixing, like spending money on Mitch Morse and Gabe Davis. Those players' best years were with their best opportunity at quarterback. You mean to tell me that Trevor Lawrence is on par with Josh Allen? He's not even on par with Lamar, who I'm not really a high fan of out of the hierarchy of quarterbacks in terms of money and pay and worth and things like that. I think C.J. Stroud is light years ahead of Trevor Lawrence, and he's in his second year in the NFL. So it's there's a lot of work to be done there, and I don't know. I think coaching-wise, they can. I have Jacksonville at 6. Just because I think there's a couple teams below them, like the Chargers and another team that I'll talk about. Don't want to give it away, but that I just don't think are as bad, or I think Jacksonville is not as bad as those two teams, Chargers and the next team I'll talk about.
All right. Well, go ahead, man. Take it away. Number 7 from RTT.
Well, Miami might be tanking for another quarterback in 2025. I do have the Dolphins here at 7. Yes, it's 7. They listed it as 7 as a playoff team, but they're going to make the playoffs if Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle stay healthy. Those guys are just too good. With even the duck throwing quarterback to a quarterback, the run game is way too good. Devin Achane, Raheem Mostert, but their defense, I think, is going to plummet. I think their defense took some massive hits via departures, but I do still think with that talent, they'll still be ranked 7. And realistically, I think Mike McDaniel is going to have to make a really tough decision. He's going to say to himself, this is another year where I got elite wide receivers and we should be putting up elite offensive numbers. We are, but if I had X instead of Tua, could I be better? And the answer is yes. The answer is yes with a lot of different quarterbacks in this league. You talked about how the Jets shouldn't have went after Aaron Rodgers. I always felt like Miami was a better fit. With the wide receivers that are there, the weather, I thought, and the coach, thought it was a much better fit for Aaron Rodgers.
He's right there for retirement. It's one hop away from retirement, right there, Miami.
Hop and a skip. It was Tampa Bay. It'd be Aaron Orlando or Aaron Miami or whatever you want to call it. So he's already got the Orlando mustache, so it fits. You know what I mean? And I thought that it could happen, but I got Miami ranked at 7 for that reason.
I like it. I had him 6. Nate Nacho brings up an interesting topic real quick, and I know we're in overtime, and appreciate you guys for showing me and telling me, because we're running a little bit of a different program tonight. Nate Nacho says, what would the Dolphins offense be with a Kirk Cousins? What do you think about that, RT?
What would it be with like a Kirk Cousins? What would it be with like a Goff type guy? What would it be with a Wilson? What would it be with man, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of quarterbacks that I could look at, even in the NFC currently, Kirk Cousins being one of them. And I actually thought Derek Carr was going to go there for a minute. And I thought that was going to happen. And a lot of people are down on Derek Carr, but Derek Carr with those guys, I think would be a different Derek Carr. Maybe that's just me, but
I saw him in Jersey. That's where I wanted him last year. I thought Derek Carr was for sure going to be a Jet, and I thought that was the perfect transitional guy for them to sit back, wait, use him to get through a season or two, draft the quarterback you want, and then be in contention and be really close to something. But they went the other way. I don't know why. But anyway, let's see here. I like that Miami take. I don't believe in Tua. I can't wait for them to pay him the richest contract in the history of the NFL, and for them to be stuck with him and paying a ton of money. How do they have any money, by the way? Like, I don't understand how they have any money to pay anybody right now. It's kind of like the way that the Patriots were, like, in those years where all of a sudden you're like, what? They got who? And him too? And they're paying this guy?
Yeah.
And what? Just nuts. But I had Miami 6. So we're pretty close there.
Pretty
A couple, man. We're taking hits back and forth. You had Jacksonville 6, right?
Yeah, and I had Jacksonville 6. So
okay, we've touched on that. So here we are. We're in the top 5, and make sure you're throwing your takes in the comments, and we appreciate you guys. 800 viewers right now live watching with us. Love you guys. Make sure you give Thomas Take Sports Podcast, Mr. Ryan Thomas, right over here, a nice follow over on the social medias. And
thumbs up.
Yeah,
I got it.
See
finally.
That, dude. I don't get it.
Did it?
Damn it.
It's like an iPhone thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it happens with Jared too sometimes.
That's funny.
Number 5 on our way too early AFC power rankings. My team is the Houston Texans.
Woo,
I really do like Stroud. Yeah, really. Damn, there we go. Hitting both. None of this has to do anything for me with Diggs. I think Diggs is going to be a solid number 3 there. I just really think that,
tell it like it is.
That's scary. Hey, I love Stephon Diggs. I loved him when he was here. Whatever, but like, I I say it on the show all the time, man. It can be true that he was probably top 3 best wide receiver the Bills had ever had in their whole history, and that
100%.
he really made a huge dent in helping Josh in those formidable years, and was just crucial in the whole team, and a good time and whatever. He can be that, and it can also be time for him to go. And it is time. It was time for him to move on, and that's okay. Like there was the distractions, but some people weren't happy. Josh looked like a golden retriever that got put in a kennel. Like I want to see free, everybody's happy, gone your own way. Let's go. Fine, cool. I think Stroud will benefit from having him on the field. I don't know if he is like one of those atypical second-year quarterbacks where you really need to have a security blanket like a Stephon, which is insane talking about Stephon Diggs as a security blanket. But the weapons they have there, the youth that they have there, getting stuff in there on a 1-year deal can't hurt. I really just think everything else they got going on down there is really rolling and moving and shaking. And depending on their schedule, I think they're going to make a big bang this year.
Yeah, I agree. I love that take. I had positive feelings about the Texans kind of early on last season. I noticed DeMeco Ryans. A recurring theme is that it really does start at the top with the coach. I always liked him as a player. And then when he took the 49ers defense, led them to do what they did, went to a Super Bowl with them, he was primed and ready to be a head coach in this league. And I look at him as one of the up-and-coming best. As well, they hit on C.J. Stroud. They also hit on Will Anderson. Those are 2 picks that they made in a move to move up into the draft to take Anderson that I think was massive for their team. 2 cornerstone-type players on both sides of the ball, a guy that can throw and a guy that can get the guy that can throw. That's huge for this era of football. Collective bargaining rookie contracts are pretty cheap. So that's what allows the Texans to go out and make a trade for a 1-year rental in Stephon Diggs. I have a feeling, though, that at this time next year, Stephon Diggs won't be a Texan, and he'll also have a new agent. I think that is a safe assessment because I don't think Houston was the best fit for Stephon Diggs for some of the reasons that you said. I mean, Nico Collins is a stud. Tank Dell is a stud. They have a kid, John Mechie III, that he had battled leukemia. I'm pretty sure it was leukemia. Came back from it. Right. The dude's a burner. The dude can run a 4.25 40 with his eyes closed. He is unbelievable. And then they went out and they made, I think, one of the most underrated moves, not even talking about Stephon Diggs, and Joe Mixon. And I'm not a big Joe Mixon guy, but they've had a hole at running back, and he's been pretty productive over the years. He was pretty productive for Cincinnati. So I think the Texans are ready to compete, and they're going to be a fun team to watch. There's no doubt about
it. 100%, man. I think that Mixon one, I always forget about that. That's a good point. So now
that was a huge move.
Yeah,
for sure.
You've solidified so much around this kid who's already shown so much in his first year. Like, it's gonna be a good season. He's very fun to watch, and it's hard to root against him for sure, unless they're playing the Bills. All right, let's move up to number 4. What do you got for number 4, RT?
Number 4, I got the Cincinnati Bengals. The reason that they're 4, they should be 3, but the reason that they're 4 is because Joe Burrow has had every injury that you can possibly think of as a quarterback. Like literally, his hand, his wrist, his elbow, his shoulder, his pinky toe,
his head, shoulders, knees, and toes.
Head, shoulders. Yeah, it's been. And you know what? It's a shame because much like Andrew Luck, I wanted Andrew Luck to be everything that they thought he could be, and he wasn't because they didn't have a line in front of him. He got dinged up, and that was all she wrote. I'd hate to see Joe Burrow suffer the same fate. I actually would, and I say that not as a Bills fan, but as a football fan. you never want to see the game's best go down early. And Burrow went down, and it drastically changed the AFC. And I think it kind of wrecked a little bit of the true competitiveness that the AFC deserves. This is a great time to be a football fan. It's a great time to root for a team. Maybe it's a little difficult to root for a team in the AFC, knowing that there's so many teams that are good, but you want to play the best. You want to beat the best at their best. And I felt like teams that bullied Cincinnati, it was almost like beating a JV team. It's not the same Cincinnati Bengals without Joe Burrow. So I think Burrow will stay healthy. And if he does, they're right there. They're right in that top 3, top 4 mix. And they have, an interesting slate ahead of them with more protection for Joe Burrow, I think, in 2024 than he's ever had. So I'm really curious to see how it pans out. But with that, I got the Bengals at 4, man.
I'm right there with you, man. Had the Bengals at 4, my damn self. And I agree. I think I would have moved him up another notch if you could trust Joe Burrow to stay healthy. I know he's good. And I don't want to go back on what I was saying before, because I did make a very heavy-handed reference to Herbert, who, if he had a different team, if the circumstances were different, blah, blah. I feel like an injury is different.
Sure.
And I think that when he's in there and he's healthy, you can see what he can do. And unfortunately, the Bills have been on the receiving end of that more often than not. So it'll be interesting to see. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And you're talking about some big dogs that we haven't said their names yet, and that means that they are in the top 3 in both RT and my list. I think he's a dude that can make it happen if he can stay healthy. It's like the Josh Allen rule for me. As long as you got Josh Allen on the team, like, you are competitive. If you don't dumpster fire, dismantle something to the bones to where you're playing with XFL players and whatever, like, as long as you have solid football players that are at least adequate at their job around Josh Allen will give you a chance to win. And I think Joe Burrow's the same way. Joe Burrow's just not quite as durable as Josh Allen.
Right. 100%.
So, yeah. So for me, number 3, I'm in Baltimore, baby. I think this is a team that they're scrappy, man. They're always in it. Another Harbaugh, another coach that knows how to coach up a team no matter what the hell they look like or what the hell he's got. Lamar Jackson, dude, very polarizing for me. And I'm glad that you said what you said about him, because to me, I do not think that he is anywhere near a top 3 quarterback in this conference even. I know we have the team at 3, but I do not think that he deserves to be that high. I think, I'd put him more in the 5 range, like, especially with Burrow in the mix, a healthy Burrow, and really with Stroud. I like Stroud's play way better than Lamar Jackson's.
100%.
So I don't know. I think Lamar's another guy that's gotten a pass. I think he's gotten a lot of hype. I think, he is very athletic. He is very good at his job. I'm not trying to take anything away from him other than the fact that I don't think that their schedule was that hard last year. I think that they got lucky on some stuff, and I think they really just kind of fell into the position that they were into. And when it came down to when it matters most, it didn't matter. So I don't know. I think, again, they'll be competitive. I think, again, this is where they need to be right now as of this date in time and the information that we have. Yes. I think that there's a fall coming for this team. I don't know if it'll be this season or next season, but hopefully Jared next season is going to cut this clip and it's going to be Swanksterdamus. Like I called it. I just don't think what they do is sustainable. I really don't think so. Not in this type of league. And Lamar Jackson isn't the kind of quarterback that's going to propel them into the future.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what you said. I, too, have the Baltimore Ravens listed at third, at 3. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that Harbaugh is so good at managing the X's and O's, managing who's out on the field or who isn't out on the field. But man, I am going to say something here that is pretty bold, but I mean it. And you know me, I mean it when I say it. You know what I mean? I'm not sugarcoating it. I think Lamar Jackson is, for my money, one of the most overrated players that this league has. And I say that because I know that he's good at what he does. What he does is what he can do. Not many guys can do what he can do. So it's really hard for me to say that he is overrated, because then that means that he's not as good as people say he is. But I would take probably 5 or 6 guys instead of him at the quarterback position. One of them hasn't achieved nearly what Lamar Jackson has achieved, but his talent level, if you took one and put him on the other team, Justin Herbert. I honestly like Herbert's talent and what Herbert can do more than Lamar. And it comes down to the clutch factor. You can win every MVP award. You can win all the, statistical categories for quarterbacks. When you're playing in the AFC Championship game and you got the C on your jersey and you know that you got to the AFC Championship game largely because of your running ability and your team's running ability, and you run the ball 8 times in an entire game, that's when I'm Lamar Jackson and I'm saying at halftime, Coach Harbaugh, let me take the
do
keys.
My thing. Yeah.
Let me just take this game over, because teams can't stop me when I take games over. When I try to take games over, teams either have a tough time stopping you for a little bit and they keep games close and they win because their defense, or he just blows the roof off the place, which he's done that in college. So that's a credit to his talent, but I don't think he's clutch. I don't think he has the sensibility that like a CJ Stroud has, that a Joe Burrow has, that a Josh Allen has, that a Mahomes has, which is why those guys are oftentimes better than the Ravens. Stroud hasn't been yet, but I'll even go back to that game. We talked about this. That game was tied at halftime. He's playing as the Baltimore Ravens quarterback against the Houston Strouds, and Houston Strouds are going head to head with the Ravens. It just showed me that this guy is not as good as he's not the elite of the elite. He's a good quarterback. I don't know if he's great. I don't know if he's great. I haven't seen greatness from the guy in big moments. And to me, that matters, because it's been proven that he can go to the playoffs, but he can't win in the playoffs. And that matters.
101 yard pick six in one of what the biggest moment of his career up to that far. And you look at these two side by side, as far as him and Josh Allen, and the praise that Lamar Jackson gets. And I'm not saying, again, he's an amazing athlete, like literally an amazing athlete, and very good for that system. I'm not taking anything away from it, but I don't understand how I see a daily tweet about how Josh Allen, if you took his rushing touchdowns away, he's only got X amount, or they shouldn't count. He's not a running back, blah, blah.
How do you take them away when they happen?
I don't know, but that is like literally. Usually that tweet's coming from down south, down in Miami somewhere. But like I see it daily. If he's a glorified running back, blah blah, and then I look at Lamar Jackson and he's an MVP. I'm like, where is this?
With that thought, they probably think Eli's better than Peyton. I mean, what the hell?
Yeah,
that make sense.
Absolutely. Well, he beat Tom Brady twice, and he's got 2 rings. And sure. Like limped into the playoffs 8-8. Anyway, I don't know. I think it's really hard to sit here as a dude that just cares about a team a lot and talks about it with guys like you and try to be like, well, Lamar Jackson, I'm not saying Lamar Jackson is a bad football player by any means, but I am saying that I think that the hype around him and the way his style of play, it's so crazy to me that his style gets praised, but Josh Allen's style gets like dug in on, like, and I don't understand it. I really don't understand it. I think Josh is a way better passer. I think whatever. So anyway, regardless,
yeah,
we both had the rating. Dude, we got two going here, back to back. We're rolling back here. No, we got three in a row.
3 in a row. Yeah.
5, 4, and 3. Who you got at 2, buddy?
Well, this is tough because I come on this show and I like to be objective. I like to give my true analysis. It's tough for me in a game of champions to rank a champion second. It just doesn't. This is the 2024 AFC Power Rankings, but the Kansas City Chiefs have won, 3 out of the last 4 Super Bowls? So I have the Bills at 2. And yes, I don't want the Bills to finish at 2, but I have the Bills at 2 because they have to beat the Chiefs in order to get to number 1. 2025, we're sitting here, Swank, a year from now, a year after the Bills beat the Chiefs, then, of course, okay, 1A, 1B. We could call it that.
I'm right there with you, buddy.
We'll call it that. That's fine. Because the margin of error is so small between these two teams that the same fans that are saying that Lamar Jackson's better than Josh Allen are the same stupid fans, and I'll say that think that the Bills are so far away from beating the Kansas City Chiefs when they're actually not. They are literally razor thin close to beating the Kansas City Chiefs. If you watch those games, 13 seconds is 13 seconds.
Yeah.
13 seconds, like that's only a little bit of time, right? And then last year, we were, one Stephon Diggs drop and a missed field goal away from tying the game, and who knows what would have happened after that. There's no telling. So, to me, Buffalo is at 2, and it's because of their quarterback. Yet again, the most underrated player in the NFL, Josh Allen, the true 2-time NFL MVP, should have won the NFL MVP last year. You could make a case for any year of his career that Josh Allen could have won the MVP from his rookie year being the exception, right? So, honestly, I think that the Bills are a different team this year than any other year. And you could point a lot of reasons to that, but I'm looking at the coaching and their defense. I think their defense is going to be a lot more fun to watch this season than previous seasons. And Sean McDermott's a defensive coach, and he's done a great job. I thought he did a great job last year with all the injuries that they had. But something tells me Bobby Babich is ready to be the guy and ready to take this defense and take it to another level. And I love Jordan Poyer. I love Micah Hyde.
Yep.
But I think that they're going to have the young dogs eating. The young lions are going to eat and hunt in this defense with Bobby Babich. Guys like Cole Bishop. I think bounce back years could easily happen with guys like Kyer Elam. And I never thought I'd bring up Kyer Elam on this podcast, but I really think that there's something to a shakeup at their defensive coordinator position. And if their defense is as good as their offense, no one can beat them. So I including the Chiefs.
Yeah.
So I think 1B, we'll put it that way. And 1A, unfortunately, it is what it is.
Yeah, man, I'm right there with you. I think that respect is earned, and you can't sit here, as much as I want to be a homer, we joke around about it on the show. Like you just can't. They're the king of the mountain until they're not,
Right.
And we can say what we want to say. We get our licks in the regular season, blah, 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 all that stuff. I just think this offense to me right now, the Buffalo Bills offense, again, always has a shot with Josh Allen. This receiving core is probably one of the most exciting receiving cores I can remember the Buffalo Bills having.
Yeah.
And again, love Stephon Diggs. Love, not putting down anything that he is as a player, amazing tenure here in Buffalo. There was bad blood. He was forcing the ball to him because he wanted to keep him happy. I don't care what anybody says. I saw it on his face.
Sure.
I saw it during games. That's what it looked like. And I think they hadn't been on the same page in a while. I think that Stephon Diggs' personality is just different than Josh Allen's personality. The way they deal with things is different. All that is fine. I think now you have fresh blood. Now you have guys that are coming in to prove something. A rookie who's out to prove something because he didn't get picked in the first round. You have Curtis Samuel, who's out to prove something because he's a career number 2, but has never had anybody that could throw him a ball worth a damn. And when he did have any sort of quarterback play, flashes everywhere. You got James Cook, you got Dalton Kincaid coming into his second year. You have a lot of people that are starving for opportunities, that are young, that want this to be the best it can be. And Buffalo does one thing since McDermott and Bean's been here. They get the best on anybody that comes in this facility. So I think that the unknown is scary, and I think that a lot of Bills fans get a little jittery and like, oh God, what are we going to do? I would say, man, this is an exciting time. This isn't Justin Fields being late on a throw. You know the quarterback play is going to be there. You know it.
Right.
You know. So
there's no doubt about that.
John Brown, when he came to Buffalo, was not what John Brown was when he left Buffalo. Cole Beasley, as great of a slot receiver as he was in Dallas, his best seasons were in Buffalo. You can go down the list of every wide receiver that Josh Allen has made better and better and better and gotten the most out of. I just think now this is the year where Josh is going to be in control of all of that. You have 2 young coordinators that are excited. You got that defensive side of the ball. You know, I don't know, man. Epinesa getting pumped on an extension that maybe he didn't know whether he was going to get or not. Finally
hitting
coming in
bombs at the Micah Hyde tournament.
Hell yeah.
AJ Epinesa. Oh my God,
dude.
He's hitting 400-foot moonshot softball home runs. Oh my God, dude. It was ridiculous. It was insane. I thought he was going to beat Josh Allen for a minute. I'm like, holy crap. Shit. I didn't even know this dude. I don't even think he played baseball. Like, I tried to find that. Yeah. I'm like, this Probably is not. Insane.
It's like, what do I do with this thing? Just hit bombs. But, I see. I don't see the Bills backsliding. I know their schedule's tough. They've had tough schedules in the past. They've, I don't know, man. I believe in this team. I believe in where they're at and what they're building. And I believe in that culture that they've solidified over the past 8 years with McDermott. So yes, the mountain to climb is KC, and you can say almost everything you say about the Bills, you can almost say about the Chiefs. I think that there's a different culture there. I don't think it's bad necessarily. I just think it's different. I enjoy rooting for our team better than their team. And I enjoy our players better than their players. But KC, I don't know, man. How much longer are you going to lean on Kelsey? How much longer does Kelsey have what it takes? What are you doing with these wide receivers that are, I don't know.
How much longer is Andy Reid going to coach?
Yeah, that's true too.
That's a very real thought. Yeah. Is Andy Reid just going to hang on and coach Pat Mahomes until he's 86 years old? I don't think so.
Until he's Belichick's age.
Bill Belichick stepped out. He burned out. Anyone burnout is real. And dude, the points that you made about the Bills, I mean, it got me thinking. Josh Allen's reached a territory in his career that I've said this before, but I really believe it, like now more than ever, that Josh Allen's reached that point that Peyton Manning was at, where he didn't have Marvin Harrison anymore. Yep. He didn't have Edgar James anymore.
Yeah.
He had Reggie Wayne and a couple other guys, and he thrived. He was actually better without Marvin Harrison than he was with Marvin Harrison. Mm-hmm. You look at some of those numbers, you'd be shocked, right? And Tom Brady too. There were years where he's playing with veteran wideouts that had been there for a while, like Troy Brown, and then he's playing with Wes Welker. And then no one knew who Wes Welker was. No one. and no one knew who Julian Edelman was.
No.
So, there's a lot of reason to look at things on paper and say, wow, this looks different. This doesn't look as good as it used to with Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis. No, it just looks different from what we're used to. That doesn't mean that it's wrong. It doesn't mean that it's bad. It could actually mean that it's good. And I tend to think, as much as I feel like I've learned and studied and understand about the game, whether I played it or coached it or podcast about it, Brandon Beane knows what he's doing. He's not a moron. This guy knows what he's doing, why he's doing it, how he's doing it. Every move is one step ahead, especially when it comes down to Josh Allen. And I don't know if you saw this, but he gave an interview recently, and he said literally his first thought when he's the GM of the Buffalo Bills every morning when he wakes up is, what do I got to do to make Josh Allen better?
Yeah, I saw that.
Because that's the key. When Josh Allen is thriving and he's playing like a madman, there's no guy that I would rather have as their quarterback, and there's no guy that most teams would kill to have Josh Allen as the quarterback, but Kansas City. Maybe Houston would beg to differ, but I think the Ravens would rather have Allen than Lamar. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but the guy is a game breaker. I've never seen a quarterback play like this. And Vic Fangio said he's John Elway on steroids. I think he's like John Elway, Brett Favre.
Yeah.
If they had a baby, and Jim Kelly a little bit too, to be honest with you.
Cunningham.
Cunningham, like there's nobody that I can compare him to. No. So buckle up, man. Another year of this, sign me up. I'm ready. I've been ready since the season ended. Let's fucking go. In the words of Tom Brady.
Hell yeah, dude. All right, guys.
Let's
look, it's 9:35. We got 927 viewers watching live. Thank you guys so much for being at tonight's program. On this show, we do final thoughts. RT, I want to thank you so much for being a guest, man, and hanging out and being just one of the best guys I know. Appreciate you. Why don't you give the folks a final thought and tell them where they can find you?
Final thought. Oh, man, we were on for an hour and 40 minutes. And you know what?
Yeah.
I wouldn't change it for a thing. This was great stuff. I think a lot of people learned a lot. I know I learned a little bit too. I know Swank did too. Yeah, right? We can always learn in conversation. So it's always a pleasure being on the K-Gun. I love you guys. I'm really excited to see you guys soon. Told Scott we'll get together for golf at some point before the summer's out. Definitely want to make that happen. And I'm pumped for just everything that the fan base is bringing to the table. I'm really happy to be a part of it. And of course, my show is on tomorrow night, Wednesday. I'm really excited. I won't be recording it live. I'm actually going to see Third Eye Blind at Darien Lake. So I will be there. If any Bills fans are there, walk up to me, shake my hand, say what's up. Buy me a beer if you want. That's up to you. I'll just throw that out there. But definitely, I'm going to have a great show for tomorrow night. I'm going to pre-record it tomorrow, and I'm really looking forward to just seeing the comments trickle in. I'll respond to those as I'm watching. Nice. And man, I love this, man. This is my favorite thing to do, being on your guys' show and being on other shows and just being a part of the fan base that is the Buffalo fan base. So let's go Buffalo. Go Bills. I'm so ready for the training camp, fantasy drafts, preseason. I would die for a preseason game right now. I don't think I've ever said that in my life, but I wouldn't mind it. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a great year.
I was counting down the days, and my wife was like, "Really? It's only that now." And I'm like, "Yo, but oh my god!" And I put us in the lottery, and we might go to training, whatever. It gets me so pumped. It's like you hit that hangover, and it lasts for a couple weeks after the Super Bowl, and then you're like, "What?"
Yeah.
Draft time is like, all right, let's go, dude. Guys, love you so much. Thank you so much for being a part of the K-Gun Report, for supporting Buff Fan Base 24/7 Buff Fandemonium. Me and Scott and Jury, and of course, Mr. Ryan Thomas from the Thomas State Sports Podcast. the boys are living that beach life. They will be back next week. We'll hear all about it. I think Jared got a sunburn.
I was going to say they both will get a sunburn. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Those Irish sunburns, man, they're brutal.
That's my life too, man. I put SPF 50 on every 20 minutes when I'm outside and spray that shit all over me. But guys, yes, thank you so much for being a part of this. Don't forget, you can check out the K-Gun Report right here where you're watching it every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on your favorite network and, YouTube's, Instagrams, Facebooks, Twitters, all that stuff. Be grateful for this time. It's a great time to be a Bills fan. Every year you can get hyped and not worry about having the worst 3 quarterbacks going into training camp. That will be a show. RT, you are invited. Love you. Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Go